I've had my fair share of interactions with people from the film industry, and while I have had horror stories of unwanted negativity and a projection of insecurity from so many, even when these actors are not that established or have celebrated filmographies, in sharp contrast, I met Sooraj Barjatya sir, and I honestly can't rave enough about the humility and grace with which he met me and spoke so vividly about his experiences in the film industry. He's not only had one of the most successful film careers, but is so candid about his failings too. I really hope you love this interaction with him because it says so much about the evolution of the film industry, how he's definitely one of the rare few regarding sticking to one's conviction, and it made me slightly introspect on what made the 90s and Hindi cinema special, especially the family movies we reminisce about, and what seems to be completely missing today in Hindi cinema. Hello, Surat sir. My name is Anmol Jamwal. It's an absolute honor to have you on my channel. I wanted to first congratulate you. Bada Naam Karenge is going to be releasing on SonyLIV on 7th February. I wanted to know from you what compelled you to become a showrunner for the show.
Actually, we've been in films and we've done a lot of television shows also since 2005. So, in all fairness, we are storytellers. So, it was since a long time in my mind and my son Devanshu's mind that we should venture something in the world of web series. But it's really funny because since 2018 we have visited a lot of platforms to do something there, and everyone told us, that no, we are not yet ready for the Rashtriya feel.
Oh wow! Okay.
Of course, it's all fair because it's a younger audience there and it's a much more urban audience. But then the credit goes entirely to the team of SonyLIV, especially to Danesh ji and Saugata ji there. When we met them, they said, Suraj, we want your field and we want to bring the Vivah, the Hum Saath Saath Hai audience into our platform. So it was so encouraging, and it is entirely their inspiration which made us just make something that we believe in, that we that is Bharat. In the television circuit, the audience is core family. And in films you find it's right there relevant, your family film has an audience, but the digital world is young, it's more men. Our audience have always been ladies, and so I think it's just a way to grow and to a different way to look at it. But I feel the world is opening up, and there are so many elders who are today on Fire Stick. I know for a fact my in-laws are there. So, and there are so many people who maybe do not like the use of a certain kind of language or something of subtitles. So I think it's a very healthy sign, that if all kind of content should be made, but even the families, good
Yes.
family content will always work. If it's good, it has to be good.
I was seeing the trailer, and I was remembering one of your interviews where you were talking about the evolution of the family as a unit, and you were hopeful by saying something like "Baatein rukni nahi chahiye," where you were talking about the younger generation and how they interact with the older ones. Does the show also have that similar sentiment?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of credit goes to our writers, Manasvi and Vidit Tripathi, and our director Palash. This subject was with Manasvi since 2 years, and we've been discussing on it, and it touches a very relevant point. The show speaks about young boys, girls. They come to big cities from smaller towns. For example, our heroine are from Ratlam, Ujjain. They come to Mumbai. They are here to make something of their careers, or to make their family proud, to take the business from Ratlam to Mumbai to Dubai. They want to do something in life, but they find it difficult to fit in here. And not only fit in here, also belong to where they are. For example, a boy is here, if he is told, nahi, ekadashi karni padti hai, Hanuman mandir jao subah, you have to be home. So it is difficult in a city like Bombay. So how to a boy and a girl fall in love, and how they are able to balance both the sides, and that is what is Bada Naam Karenge.
Sir, do you see anything as a wrong answer? Because in the trailer, I see almost like this moral clash between the family unit and the individuals who are the children. Um, the children essentially become an amalgamation of
Yeah.
both worlds. How do you see that?
I think that is the biggest issue with generations today. I have kids, I have now grown up kids, and I have nephews, nieces, and uh, I think it is wrong to say, that uh, the the moral values have gone. It's not that. It's just the way uh, people look at it differently. For example, I remember my mama ji telling me that जब हम छोटे थे तो my mama ji could not play with his children in front of his father because it was not considered correct.
Oh.
It's the grandfather who get the choice. But when I had young kids, we were playing. When I was a young, I had to stand. My father comes, I'm chup. Today my son
Just
tells me
casually
anything. Yeah.
speaks to you.
So that doesn't mean there's no love left, but it's just the way people are evolving. People are much more open. So I think that is something that we as elders need to understand. The youngster need to understand the opposite. It's a progress, and it's a very healthy progress. That's what we are trying to say in this show.
Yeah, because these conversations are healthy.
Yeah.
I wanted to, sir, also ask you, you've got Palash who's directing this series. He made one of my favorite series called Gullak on the same platform. I wanted to understand from you as a producer, the most talked about thing is when we bring new faces in front of camera, but there's been a constant discourse recently of the lack of voices behind camera. How important it is that you back new voices behind camera as well?
I think it is as important as in front, because finally it is creation. We always talk of numbers and we always talk of followers, whatever we talk about it. Finally, it is an individual medium, and it's a director's medium, it's a writer's medium, and for example, I'll tell you when I won the awards, Filmfare Award for Hum Aapke Kaun, so I won the director award, the screenplay writer, but my father kept the screenwriter's award with him. The director, he says, "Ye tu rakh le." So that's because these technicians are the ones who create. So I'm very, very happy and very proud of this association we had with Palash. A year and a half he gave to this project, and it's what we have is a very lovely combination of our voice and also his young voice, and but he also belongs to Raipur, he belongs to a small town, so I think it's a very good combination, very fresh.
He knows that world.
He knows that world.
Suraj sir, I asked this very controversial question when I was doing a roundtable recently with a lot of directors, and there was an unpopular opinion that a producer had. He said that directors shouldn't have call on final cut because sometimes they fall in love with their worlds too much and they don't know how to trim down or cut down. What is your opinion on the same?
I'll tell you a very funny incident. I learnt it very early. When I made my first film, Maine Pyaar Kiya, it was first. I was 23, so I had a cut which was 4 hours long, and I insisted that everything should be there. जब 4 घंटे मैंने देखे, तो we had a trial show and it was just dead silence. And that's the time I realized कि Suraj, this is not working. It may work for you, but you are boring the audience. And that's when I sat with the editor, and at that age I realized from the editor, in front of the editor, now at the final time the director should move out, and now it should be the producer who's looking at as a story, who's looking at it from an audience point of view. So I feel every director should eventually move out after the getting his cut done, and a producer to step in, because there is already an editor to tell you the technical part. You must see it like an observer. That is very important. So this is a fight which will always be there, whether between a two different people, or even as a producer director there will be a battle there, but yes, finally it should be the producer's call.
Because there are times one side says that they often become too indulgent with their own stories.
I've been a director, so I can understand.
Sir, I really have to take this opportunity. If I'm sitting with you, I have to ask you about your journey. So I really wanted to ask you, in the 90s, especially, like, they've been on record, Karan Johar and Aditya Chopra, speaking about the influence that your movies also had, giving them courage as well to make their own movies. You speak about all three of you being relatively young at that point of time and telling young stories. Do you think that was the secret sauce of what made the 90s and your movies so special?
I think a lot of combination. See, all three of us have been lucky because we've been brought up in film families. All three of us have only seen movies since childhood. I mean, very early we've been on sets, we've been on writing jobs, on editing, and fortunately none of us, we've had very good lives. We've not seen hardship to that extent. We've been hard, we've worked hard. So I think it all matched with a time of cinema where people wanted to see good dreams, wanted to see big sets, wanted to just go into a world of romance, of softness. So I think it all bridged in with the coming of younger actors, all of us, and we just found our place. And I think all three of us wanted to show a world which is full of dreams and ideal world. So I think we just fit into it at the correct time.
So I think you're not giving yourself too much credit also, but of course, sir, upon a lot of research as well, I couldn't find much regarding this. I would really want to know from you. Before Maine Pyaar Kiya, there are excerpts and articles about Rajshri going through a financial trouble at that point of time. Could you tell me the phase of that era in the film industry and why there was so much hope for your directorial debut?
See, I mean, we have seen, like any business, even our profession, our industry, it goes up and down. There was a phase where the VHS had stepped in, and the families were watching the films at home. So maybe that is our films, which are family films, maybe Gulzar Saab's, Basuda's films. We all suffered because families ghar pe dekh rahi hain. So to that extent, we had a lineup of 8 to 9 film failures. Of course, they would not be good films also, that's why. But then we were wondering what should we do, and at Rajshri we were at a low. And at that time I chose to direct. So there was a lot of decision that karna chahiye, nahi karna chahiye, because I've been quite a backbencher. I mean, neither have I done a lot of elocution, no dramatics. I have not been front of school also, nothing much. So and we've been a business family. So,
but you've been an admirer of films all your
life.
Yeah,
right? But finally, director means you're putting crores. I mean,
yes,
and putting a career. So then my father said, "Ki producer bano. Why you want to be a director?" Because so I said, "Abhi mujhe banna hai." So then it's my grandfather. I remember him saying that he wants to direct, and we have to back young people, and we will make his film. We will beg, borrow, steal. Wow. I remember these are the words. So and then I've seen my father, my uncles go out of the way to make this film. I budgeted at a certain figure, and it went more than double. So I have the memories of those times where I felt कि जब दूसरे मेरे लिए इतना करे, I have to go beyond. So that was a do or die film. I remember if Maine Pyaar Kiya would not have worked, I think we would have closed shop.
Wow.
But I think that's where Kismat comes in, and I give a lot of credit to my career to that phase. I think all of us should see a little downside, because when you see a downside, you realize a Maine Pyaar Kiya comes once in a lifetime, and you better have gratitude for it. It's not you, it is the universe, and it is the hard work of so many people. So yes, that was
so this discussion is so relevant today. You know, sir, every week we are having discussions on the channel about what's the state of the film industry, and something that's become very consistent is a lot of people saying that movies have become risk averse. Almost there's been become a dependence on franchises, on installments, almost so that you can become cash positive
Yeah.
even before it goes out theatrically. Do you think that's what's missing? Almost like, or the stakes were so high back in the day that everybody wanted this to work, and there's almost a laziness creeping in now. I don't mean to sound
Yeah,
harsh.
no,
It's
no.
not a general assessment, but a lot of people are noticing this currently.
See, Anmol, I think it's a phase, but I can only say this much: at that time, when I started off, films was more about passion and less about business. I remember Salim साहब telling me that सूरज फिल्म तो वो बनाता है जो अपने आखिरी लास्ट शॉट लगाता है पिक्चर में, मतलब तब बनती है पिक्चर. So that time we were passionate. It was after passion. If you go to any exhibitor there, they would say ये पिक्चर लगानी है मुझे, ये मेरी पिक्चर है. But if over the time it has become more business, it's become more marketing. So I think that is the route where first we want to play safe and we want to have a coverage. I remember there was nothing as coverage at that time. It was either this or either that. And we did not have that much vision also. We just wanted यार लोग जाए ना तारीफ करें, एक सीटी आ जाए, ये बस इतना सा हम लोग की इच्छा होती थी कि तारीफ हो जाए. Today it's all about numbers, it's all about money. So I think that is where the issue lies. Every maker, I feel, should finally realize that it is not just the franchise, it is the individual film and how it can stand apart. Because कोई देखने जाएगा, he will go for entertainment and how for a fresh experience. So it should have a fresh way of saying, a fresh story. Finally, whether franchise or new, it has to have a merit.
That's such a good assessment, sir, because it is something that I think keeps on creeping up when people notice.
My films have all have always been opposite to the challenge. All 5, all 7 which I made, because somehow I always tried that okay, I should make a film which is, but I always end up going the opposite way. Because I think that's my soul's calling, and I think that is very important. Every maker should realize कि नहीं, मैं 2 साल इस फिल्म को दे रहा हूँ, to every day really want to go and make it.
Yeah.
Rather than will it be a hit? I think that's where the secret lies.
So, because I remember you speaking about just before Maine Pyaar Kiya, almost you and Salman sir standing at bandstand wondering what's going to happen with our careers. Was it absolute uncertainty of how it will go?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we are 21, 22, and you are starting a film where that was a time of Amit, of Bachchan sir, of Dharamji, of Jeetu ji. They were yet ruling and tried to enter a market which is full of VHS and only on the basis of what कि एक love story बनानी है, and इतनी बनती है love story क्यों चलेगी?
Yeah.
But a lot of credit goes to my father. You know, he just
That
said,
level of faith.
He said that you make a film that you are living. So honestly, what has come, it is the first time you had a hero wear jeans and a banyan and this full second half. So हम लोगों ने ना कहा था, कुछ सोचा नहीं, आता भी नहीं था, but जो जी रहे हैं ना, that we just put in. I mean, if at that time मैंने प्यार किया, if someone would have argued on any point, we would have had the thesis, because we are living that life.
Yeah.
So I think that is what worked. So whenever a maker is confident of having made something that he believes that he has lived in, that is very lethal.
So, you know, Salman sir has been your longest collaborator as a leading man, and everyone speaks about Salman, the star, because you've had such decades of experience with him. I wanted to know what is special to you for him as an actor.
I've worked more than 500, 600 days with him, and we started together. I think the most important part of Salman bhai as an actor is his naturalness.
Okay.
And his ability to not worry about making a mistake. It's a very, very big plus point of him. he is not worried about making a fool of himself, and that really works. नहीं तो we are always लोग क्या बोलेंगे क्या, he just lets himself go. I think that is his biggest naturalness as an actor. That's why if you see across, to come across to have such a big mass appeal, it is just to trust that gut, and he is someone who just connects to the ordinary man. So that naturalness is the actor. But if you look at him closely, he works very hard on his roles. Sometimes when you go to narrate to him, he's just looking at you and he's absorbing. You go to him in the morning, he'll hear the scene, he'll come on the set and he'll watch from far what is happening, what is the set, where is the camera, what are the lights. Then he'll come and he'll just lie down, and because he makes everyone comfortable. So I think that is what is Salman Khan, with his naturalness.
He's instinctive.
He's impulsive, instinctive, that's it.
So, about 6 years ago in 2019, when you were celebrating 25 years of Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, a lot of the times you were referencing also sort of the aversion that people had, or the doubts that people had. Someone saying that, oh, it's a long wedding video, there's so many songs with it. I wanted to know, when you have achieved a certain level of success, how do you filter criticism? How do you distinguish between criticism and noise at that stage?
It is very difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah. And then, like anyone else, I also went through the phase, because you had a Maine Pyaar Kiya behind you, and you were making your second film, and you had a dream of a star cast, and you had all the budget and all the best of technicians and best of people. And I remember we had the premiere at Liberty, and the entire trade was called because we were playing the 4-track sound, and I just I went in and I saw that when the name came, directed by Sooraj Barjatya, there was a big clap.
Oh wow!
So I thought, yeah, I'm set for the second film. But जैसे जैसे गाने आते गए, एक एक I could just hear from the chairs उठ के जाता है ना कोई, तो जैसे break, so धड़ाधड़ धड़ाधड़ people were all coming out, and I was out and people just came out, and then, oh, very nice film, So it was very challenging, and I remember going up to the projection theatre. I did not meet anyone down. Even in the end, I didn't meet. I was just feeling that what have I done? Interval, one young man came to me by the projection, then he told me, देखो सबके साथ होता है ऐसे सूरज बाबू. He said, even Mr. Raj Kapoor has had a failure. You immediately starts working on something else.
Oh my God.
So I thought, this is gone. And I remember not meeting anyone. I came to this office and I came, it was late in the night, and I sincerely remember, and I have great respect for two people who called me that night. One was Mr. Aditya Chopra, and one was Mr. Dharmesh Darshan. Both my contemporaries, and both of them called me and said, we've just seen your film, and don't worry, it's going to work.
Wow.
So these are the calls which I had, and for the 4-5 days, the film didn't work.
Oh, for the first 4-5 days?
Yeah, 4-5 days they worked. And 5th day at Liberty, I cut off 2.5 songs.
Okay.
Because मेरे दिल में था कि ये थोड़ा सा extra है. This is creating little fatigue. See, again, it's the director जो लालच था कि नहीं माधुरी का गाना है, नहीं ये बहुत अच्छा, इतनी मेहनत हुई है इस गाने में, and the producer took over, and उसके बाद I didn't visit the cinemas again. And from there it picked up.
There it picked up. Wow.
But the credit goes entirely to the audience, because when we were making it, when we were in, none of us thought that this is going to be the result.
Highest footfalls for a film ever. Yeah. There are very few directors that I know today who have jam sessions with their music directors in studio. Almost there's a jugalbandi of the description of the scene, the lyricist understanding it. There's been such a come down on lip sync in movies. What's your assessment of the same?
I think it's very, very important to have enough time to do pre-production. Whatever I made, you see, I've not been from commerce side. I'm no big success as a maker, because In 35 years, you make 7 films as a director. There's hardly any
So 5 of
balance.
them are
Yeah,
supreme blockbusters, sir.
but that's the life I chose. That's the world I've chosen, and I'm very happy that I've chosen and I've lived with it. But for any creation, it's very important to have communication. Because कोई भी ऐसा सीन ऐसा ऐसा अपने आप नहीं उपजता. I remember uh, Abodh, we were making a film Abodh. So the dialogue writer who was writing it, he had worked with Shri Raj Kapoor. So he had said that, you know, लोग कहते हैं कि राज साहब सेट पे लिखते थे सीन. But then people forget that he would write the 99th scene there. 98 पन्ने फाड़ के फेंके होंगे. So that anything that comes out has come out of perspiration. So all these tunes which have been made, these scenes which have been made, these have all been after so many discussions, whether with music director, with lyric writer. I remember we were doing Didi Tera, situation ही नहीं आ रही थी. So we said, अच्छा आज काम बंद करो, script सुनो. So when everyone is involved from the script, you are evolving and you are creating something. Nothing comes out of closed doors in this profession. I would seriously ask everyone, get out of your Zoom calls and get together, go out together, create, discuss, because you all are we are creators. We are dealing with emotions. Even actors, actresses, everyone should be involved.
So, you know, on the same topic of risk aversion or just the state today, a lot of people were saying that a lot of the film releases now are being set dependent on the dates that, say, streaming platforms are deciding, and that creates a time crunch.
Yes.
And then more people are just approaching the music companies of whatever library they have, and they'll just make a quick remix version of it. So it is.
See, one doesn't make a Pyasa like that. One doesn't make a Mother India like that. I'm totally against, you know, fixing a release date of a film unless it is complete. It is very, very important because it is pure creation. हमारे देखो बड़े क्या बोलते थे कि मेहनत करो पैसे आएगा. If I was a youngster, I want to earn money, do something good for the society, money is going to follow. Similarly in films or in creation, in web series, television, we give so much time to pre-production, we give so much time to production, to edit. But जब edit होके आता है, we need time to redo, reassess, re-edit, sleep over it, make corrections, show to people. Like I at Rashri, we show our movies to everyone. Everyone's
almost test screenings and stuff.
Yeah, everyone is welcome to see, because I get so many comments. You get family members, friends. Sometimes we show to our drivers. So you get that time is important. You can make corrections, and all my films, I can tell you, have really, really benefited.
Wow.
But when you set a release date, you just have no time to think.
So, you know, there are situations right now, the biggest movies have their final edit a day before it's going to theaters.
Yeah.
That is.
Because then you're not allowing creation to take its gestation period. You're
not letting it ruminate.
Yeah. Because I understand everyone wants a big date, a good weekend, but then that's not fair to the picture. A good film will be a good film. A good film will run any time of the. Maine Pyaar Kiya was released on 29th December in peak cold. And honestly, that's the only film of mine which has opened houseful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 29th December.
So, you know, speaking of that phase, I remember Saif during an interview was speaking about how he would be on the sets of Hum Saath Saath Hain and how distributors would be coming on set ki Sooraj ji, please movies release kariye, hamare theaters khali ho rahe. I wanted to know that pressure, when you know what is successful already, how do you not get into routine of not emulating what was successful? You know, you knew what worked, so why not stick to routine? How is it that you strayed away from that? Because I say this because everyone is doing routine now, of at least with the big commercial films, action is working. Now we're just getting emulation of what was working. I wondered about you at that peak of success. How did you not almost succumb to that?
Because very early I realized that uh, that I have to make a choice of what I want to do. So I've been a great fan of Mr. Raj Kapoor, and he has his. I'll quote him. He said, "I am prepared to be uh, a bad son, a bad father, a bad husband, but not a bad director." So I I chose very early, that I want to be a good director. Now, when I've been fortunate to have got a success, मैंने प्यार किया. Now, with that success, I got the confidence that if I were to listen to my heart, the success will follow. Then I did it with Hum Aapke Kaun. I got it with Hum Saath Saath. It never occurred to me that I must make the biggest hit, or I must make. I just wanted that I must be happy watching what I've done every day. I just want to be happy. I want to be proud of myself and to really convey. For me, uh, when I started as a maker, even today, I really love the world of the set. It's a world where you can play God, where you can create a life which will be so beautiful, where everyone will be nice. Uh, Life can be like this. So it's almost, for my dream to create a nice naughty world. So I always that is my big lalach. I've tried so many times, to do various things. I end up being in a very nice, comfort, lovely zone. So that's why I've never been that जो चलता है वो शायद आता भी नहीं है.
So,
Like for example,
yeah.
often I've tried to be commercial, but I've always failed. I think what works for me, what audience wants to see, what I'm good at. So I think now I've done that. I've tried to be commercial.
Yeah.
There are 2 films of mine which haven't worked that well. So, but that's me.
So I think Javed sir was speaking about this, that director's biggest failing will be if he assumes what the audience wants,
Yeah.
and then it's fool's paradise at one point of time. So speaking of what you just spoke about, there's only one blip that people speak about. If I hope you don't mind me asking you, what has could you objectively analyze your failure and what went wrong, and was it essentially that this wasn't you?
Absolutely, because I think that one of my films which didn't do as well is मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ. And I think that has taught me the biggest lesson, like it does to every person. Because the law of averages does catch up and should catch up. And it just got me back thinking, Suraj, you have to make what you are. What promise did you do to yourself when you started as a career? I clearly remember that phase, Hum Saath Saath Hai was at that time. Today it's very popular on satellite, but at that time it was 60% of Hum Aapke Kaun. All youngsters, younger makers were shooting abroad. It was a much younger world, a modern world. And I have to admit, I got swayed. I said I must also
Join the party?
Yeah, I had all the budget and I had the best of stars. Today I do feel I could have done much more justice to the talent of Ritik and Abhishek and Kareena, Anuji, uh, because that is one film. When I was shooting, I would always ask my assistant कि ये आप लोग को ठीक लगेगा, ये आपको ठीक लगेगा.
A younger demographic?
Yeah, will this work at your level? Will this work? So I think there Suraj was asking others for opinion and not trusting his voice. So when the film was released, it's one of big releases, but I remember people outside theatre says, whose film is it? It's not his. And Hussain Saab threw this brush and came to the cinema because he's loved Hum Aapke Kaun, Hum Saath Saath Hai so much. He threw brush in the interview saying, तूने क्या film बनाई है? तेरी कहाँ है ये film? So I think that really told me that, Suraj, you have to be what you are. The audience is telling you, are you comfortable yourself? So then I made a small film, Vivah. And that was my biggest achievement, to a sort where I said I don't have to ask anyone. People were telling me, कौन सी दुनिया है, कहाँ है, ये जल है, वो. I said I know that world, and then I made it, and that was my. So I think like you ask anyone, a failure does teach you much more than success.
So why do you say that Vivah is your most personal film?
Because I came after a failure.
Oh, okay, okay. You had something to prove also?
Yeah, to prove to myself that no, if you trust your own voice, and then I took that chance. I put the budget very less, and I said I want to make something that it's personally, I want to make what I want to make. I don't want
Shahid and Amrita were also relatively new at that time.
We were all, and it was a subject uh, about arranged marriage, about coyness, and about softness, and about a girl getting burnt, which has, people don't want to see this. But I was independent. I just wanted to make what I want to make, and it worked, and that has given me so much. So I think that's why it remains a very dear film for me.
So I think unanimously the biggest gripe that people have is that why doesn't Suraj sir come more often with movies? There was I think a 9-year gap between Vivah and Prem and 7 years with Unchai.
It is just that as a maker, I am very selfish as a director, because I have to be there at every step. That's the world I've chosen. So then I'm there at writing, I'm there at creating, and I narrate it all. I narrate to everyone myself, because I want to live every bit of it. Every music, every choreography, every action, every dubbing, every edit, I'm there. Because for me, that is my vajood, that is why I live. So as a director, I'm very selfish. I will not let it go, anything. So that takes time. I write with my own hands. Ab to my assistant but nahi to maine apne haath se likha hai script, because when I write, I feel the creation is coming. It's almost like you touch godliness when the characters speak to you. And I think every maker should taste this. It's a big joy where you can really live that world. But then as I grow older, you have more responsibility to run an organization. So over the time, because of these gaps, because we've been doing television, then we have now web series, we do a lot of television also. We've got other films to make. My son is making now as a director. So I think all those things also take, but as a director, when I look at myself, there is a lot of selfishness.
Sir, I hear that the next project is on marriage and with Salman sir. Is that something that can become a reality?
Yeah, that is on the cards, but it is taking me a little more time, because that would take a couple of years to come out. Because with Salman bhai now, it has to be special, because we have to accept today Salman bhai is at an age where you have to make
something that's age appropriate.
Age appropriate for him, for me. Because what happens is today, if you have Salman bhai do an action, you can go straight with it, because that is, but to put him into a family zone with his age and to be relevant and to be correct, that's to be natural, is going to be difficult. Because you cannot have him, if I write a scene of falling in love here, that's not fair to him, and it's not fair there. And both of us are very clear that whenever we should make what the worlds we have lived in, of the world where everything is nice, sweet. So I'm taking my time, but my next would not be Salman, but it's a different kind of film. I'm making another film. The announcement will happen very soon. But I'll make another film first.
Nice. We're looking forward to it, sir. So last question I wanted to ask you was, is there a Sooraj Barjatya dream project? Is there a project that you've always had the back of your mind that one day I'm going to make this?
There have been a lot of ideas there, but someday I really want to make the Ramayana in my own way. I think the Tulsidas Ramayana is the greatest gift that is there to us. Someday, given a choice, I would like to just make the Ramayana and live those characters. Maybe someday I will do it, and but yes, I'm slowly moving towards.
We would love for that to be a reality, sir. Thank you so much. It was such an honor, sir. And congratulations again on the show. And we can't wait to watch more Suraj sir films, and hopefully a little more regularly. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.